All right, I have been driving for basically 53 minutes. We did take it up and put some fuel in it. It was on E, and so I needed to get some in it so I could drive it. Now we have a desired line pressure PID here, and so we not only monitored that. As I scroll through here, just bear with me, I'm going to kind of make this quick. It took right about 40 minutes to get it to start to act funny. Now we were monitoring the transmission temp. This is a voltage reading, obviously. This is a temperature reading. It never did give me any kind of a temperature issue. And so as I did finally get a shift problem out of it, it initially shifted hard. There was no issue with the stick. That is unrelated. It's a separate item. My line pressure went to 12, and the desired was still where you see it now. And I don't know if we drop it in gear. It shifted super duper hard again right there as we dropped it in gear. So it's trying to protect itself. There is a code in here now, and I'm just going to flip the camera. You can see we do have a 32-foot gooseneck hooked. We needed that to simulate the situation that we have now. So as we kind of scroll through the data here, it'd been nice if they would have put those line pressure readings close to each other, but they didn't. Yeah, so this I think is what happens, and that's why you get a hard shift limp in status. It sticks in one gear, so it has entered the limp in status, if you will. And I could do a custom data stream here, but I'm trying to make this somewhat concise in the video. But essentially what happens is, we're going to pop out of this. We do have a code set. So we have two things going on here. We're going to click on this service data, and essentially we have pattern failures. A lot right at 100,000 miles, we get a transmission failure on these trucks. And as we scroll down, this is the information on this code. And I'm sure you can pause the video and read it, but in the midst of it, it says to monitor the line pressure and make sure it matches the desired, which it does not. That's why we're in limp-in mode. And so I can do some further testing, but I'm going to have to pull the pan. That's the only next step, which is a discussion that we had earlier. But you can see here that, let me find it. Remove the automatic transmission pan and perform a visual inspection and found excessive metal and clutch material in the pan. This indicates that there is an internal transmission damage resulting. The result of this test verifies transmission assembly was faulty. And so we've got a pretty cut and dry. I'm not saying it needs a transmission right at that second, but we've got an issue there. We also have a solenoid issue, which I have seen in the past where a lot of debris from the transmission ends up on the solenoids. And as you can see, we've got a solenoid circuit code. This also indicates internal transmission damage. So essentially, without pulling the transmission out of, or the pan at least out of this thing, that is where I'm at. I did get it to recreate. We do have some movement in this shifter. I would need to tear the column down and verify. Also, while the pan was off, I could look and see if there was extra play down in the valve body, which is also an issue. But none of that is related to the items that we have going on here. So I hope this makes sense. I hope this helps somebody out here. We're in an 18 Dodge, is I believe a 3/4 ton with a 6.4 Hemi, and we are just over 100,000 miles. So I did finally get it to recreate. I do have some direction to go. Pulling the transmission pan would be the next logical step to verify whether we've got to get deep in the water or, you know, potentially there's another item. But I have two things steering me to pull the pan and find out what's going on. This particular one talks about a second gear piston, which is also internal transmission. And you can see here on the intelligent diagnostics, it's anywhere from 75 to 100,000 miles, and that's kind of where we're at. I hope this helps somebody out there. If you guys have any comments, want to rate, leave me any feedback or questions, I'll do my best to answer them.